Hi, Aaron.
Hi, buddy.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Look at this thing.
What's up, guys? Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. Today we're featuring a Ring Brothers car. I've actually shot quite a few of their SEMA vehicles, and every time they're just so special. They're so well done, and there's just so much attention to detail. So my friends from Con Media, they actually reached out to me and they asked me if I wanted to feature this. Of course, I wanted to feature it. So we got Nathan from Con Media
What's
here.
going on, guys?
Hi,
How's it
Nathan.
going?
How are you?
Good, good.
Ring Brothers, they just really take builds to just a level that I've never really seen.
Yeah. The best way to explain it, and the way I always explain it, is they take classics and they refine them to what we need to drive nowadays. You know, they make all the little touches, the subtle touches that you want to see, and give you the creature comforts that you want out of a modern car, but get the cool looks of the classic.
So this is an interesting build in that the K5 Blazer, this is a 1970, correct?
Yeah, 1970.
This is like a pedestrian vehicle. This was never meant to look good.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like it's
yeah.
like a utility vehicle. It's something, you know, to go to the beach, to go off-roading, right?
Yeah.
But it was never meant to have pristine paint, lots of horsepower, and like all the goodies.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like a blue-collar car, if you want to think of it that way. Just something that you can pile the kids in, you can still make it to the beach, like you said, and can tow a boat here and there. But at the level that the Ring Brothers build it, you know, they take it to that next level.
Well, that's kind of the fun thing, right? With these cars, you know, there's some nostalgia with it, obviously, people that grew up with it. And then now they've built the ultimate K5 Blazer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's not a bolt that's been untouched on here. It's essentially a brand new build, if you think of it that way, with, like I said, the classic looks. You know, it's got modern power plant with the LS3 in it from Wagner, brand new transmission. It's still a 350 transmission, but built by bowlers. You know, it's a street performance transmission, so drives and handles like it's brand new. It's got a real transfer case from, you know, the classic truck it came from. But
it's kind of hard to put a price on what these guys do, because pretty much everything is customs. I mean, down to the bolts, the door handles, the hinges, so much is CNC'd aluminum, and it's really the whole attention to detail thing, right? So like, I couldn't even imagine how much more this is versus MSRP, or even how much it's worth stock.
yeah.
It's probably, there's really no way to calculate it. But with that said, I'm glad that they're the ones to do it. You know, might as well have somebody who's that crazy to kind of have a build like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, MSRP, I really couldn't even give you a guess on what it was brand new. And nowadays, you know, the best way to kind of gauge it is what are people paying for it on auction. You know, it's not, you know, publicly available information for the most part. But as I was explaining, you know, the last time one of the Ring Brothers Blazers went up for sale on a Bring a Trailer or any auction site for that matter is roughly $300,000 to $400,000. So somewhere in that range, you can kind of guesstimate where this is going to be if you were to want one, and then you can kind of take it from there with the options you want to have the Ring Brothers take off with it.
So basically 100 times more than MSRP, maybe.
Yeah, probably closer to that. Exactly, exactly. But like I said, a lot more of a refined vehicle that you get now, something you can kind of hop into. It starts up, fuel injection, drives great. It's very subtle on the road, but when you hammer down, it's there, you know.
Out of all the Ring Brothers cars that I've featured, this is the first truck,
Yeah.
which I'm excited about. So let's actually start with under the hood here. Just check out the engine bay.
Yeah. So like I said, it's got an LS3 Wagner in it. So Wagner Motorsports LS3 billet valve covers by the Ring Brothers, vintage air AC, you know, Power Master alternator. So it's got the whole nine.
Incredible. It is so, it sits, I mean, it looks right at home. It looks OEM. That's kind of the point, the fit and finish. I see that they've obviously modernized so many things, including the braking system.
Yeah, and on top of that, what's crazy, which you'll notice right here, is there's not a single detail that was an afterthought. They actually moved the engine back 4.5 inches, so you can see it's kind of tucked in, custom firewall on there, trying to, you know, kind of balance out the system a little bit.
This is super cool that they just left enough room for the intake runners.
Exactly, exactly. And so it's those little touches that take the Ring Brothers builds to the next level that, you know, you won't see anywhere else.
And these must be seriously the most expensive hinges. I mean, and also the fact that there's a shock here. There's like a gas shock that replaces the spring, right?
Yeah.
Normally it would have like a spring
Yep, just
system.
some kind of janky spring that, you know, has a scissor effect to it. And so, yeah, these are...
I just can't believe, I couldn't imagine. And also the fact that they milled it out so it like saves a little bit of weight, or
Yeah,
it's just
it's stylistic
cool. Yeah,
too.
stylistic, the structural integrity. And I mean, even like this vent.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually one thing we were talking about is, you know, you see a truck like this, you don't want to see vents in the hood, but the Ring Brothers have a way of subtly adding touches like this that just seem like they fit and should have been there from the beginning.
All the hardware, again, really, really nice. Each one is
Titanium.
Just titanium. Okay.
Yeah, titanium hardware all the way down to, you know, where the 2-bolt flanges are that connect the headers to the exhaust are ARP bolts. Every single bolt on here, like I said, has been gone over and been torqued to spec, and everything is just absolutely immaculate on it.
So what's the dyno numbers on this?
So it is just a crate engine, so I think it cranks out around 460 horsepower or so, and, you know, probably give or take, you know, 20% for going to the wheel. But other than that, you know, it's like I said, I would call it, you know, 400 to 500 horsepower engine that, you know, is more than enough for something like this.
I would be, I mean, I think I'm going to drive it later, and I probably be afraid to floor it because I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, this is definitely a box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That has a big engine and some suspension bits.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll see how it drives. I'm kind of curious, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's got modern suspension on it as well. You know, it's still got the original C-channel frame from the truck originally, but it's been gone through, modernized in a sense. It's got QA1 suspension. So even though it's a straight axle truck, it handles really well, and you'll feel it all over the road.
Yeah, so do you know if any of this stuff was stock at all? Like maybe some of the body panels?
Yeah, sure, the body panels. I don't know details as far as that go. But yeah, you know, things like this, the bumper, the bezel up front, those are all, you know, remanufactured parts for the most part. When it comes to like the billet accessories that Ring Brothers did, like I said, the billet are the valve covers, you know, little touches like this, like the side marker
so
cover.
Cool.
You know,
I can't believe.
Exactly.
The attention to detail on this is just incredible.
Yeah, all the way through the back, and then once you get into the interior, you're just enamored with even more billet accessories everywhere.
So we got LED headlights. This looks all new. You got the Ring Brothers badge here. The wheels are really special. I've never seen any HREs that look like this.
Yeah, custom 2-piece wheels from HRE, which, you know, one-off for the most part. You won't really be able to go to HRE and order a set of these unless you're the Rings. So if you want a set, you'll have to go through the Rings in that case. So, but other than that, you know, like I said, it's pretty one-off except for the one-off. They're the billet accessories, which are available for anybody who has a Blazer like this, and you can order those from Ring Brothers.
Huge brakes.
Yeah.
Bare brakes.
Yeah, the brakes are they are 6-piston bare brakes on there too, front and back. So, you know, it's definitely gonna make sure you stop when you need to.
And the paint, it's kind of interesting. Before we started rolling, you were mentioning that there's kind of like a interesting correlation. I don't know if it's on purpose or not.
Yeah. So the paint is BASF Grabber Green, and oddly enough, the tires are General Grabbers. So I think there's some tie in there.
The paint is absolutely perfect. There's no orange peel at all. Even the parts where it's covered, like underneath the engine bay, door jambs, it's so smooth. It's like glass, and it's so pretty. It just glistens in the sun. It's so nice. Okay, so talked about that. Even the fuel cap. Look how finished this is. This is just so nice. Also, love the taillights so much that they're like progressive when you actually
push
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you push on the taillights, it actually, wow, that is so cool. So it's based on pressure, or it's just?
No, it just kicks off and
okay.
goes up. Yeah, it's very, think of it like one of the Mustang taillights, you know, but, you know, vertical.
And then the name of this, it's called
Watchman. Yeah, Watchman is their name.
Okay, and why is it named that?
That I actually don't know the Watchman reason. I do think there's a tie-in because so Omaze will be donating a portion of this to Team Rubicon, and I think the between the green color and Team Rubicon, it all just kind of made sense that this is the Watchman.
I love this. I love that they replaced the R.
Yeah,
in
that's
Chevrolet.
a big favorite. Anytime you see it, one of the Blazers is incorporating the Ring Brothers R right into Chevrolet.
And of course, exhaust out of the back.
Yeah,
That's super
Flowmaster
cool.
exhaust.
So yeah, let's take a look at the interior here.
Yeah.
Let's start with the back. It's incredible how finished every single panel is. I mean, I couldn't imagine like the original designers of this car or of this truck. Could they? Would you think that they would think that it would be this finished at any point?
You know,
it's
funny.
amazing. Look at this.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because as you were stating earlier, you know, it was kind of a blue-collar car when it came out. And so, you know, the attention to detail wasn't there. A lot of this was bare metal. You know, you might have some type of like, you know, vinyl that's back here, but, you know, when the Ring Brothers get a hold of something, you know, they're taking it to the next level, and you can see it with this. And it still kind of keeps it period correct with this kind of, you know, the interior design you see here is kind of somewhat 70s to match the year of the truck. And like you said, it's attention to detail. No one's ever going to see the back of the seat, but it blends in with everything, so it kind of looks like it's a one, you know, piece thing. And like I said, there's not a single part on this that hasn't been thought of.
But in this hardware, it looks like it's custom made, even.
Yeah, the hardware, I'm not positive on where that came from for the most part, but you know, anything the Ring Brothers, you know, kind of work with is usually a top tier company.
One of the things that you pointed out here is this switch, just this toggle switch for the LED lights back here. Just that feeling when you're toggling that switch, it's just, such a simple rocker switch, but they probably put so much time and effort to make it perfect.
Yeah, and like you said, it's almost just satisfying to kind of click it back and forth because you get that satisfying click that you know you're on or off, and there's just something about that, you know, hard billet that has the grooves in it, and it just feels good using it.
Can we take a look at the interior?
Yeah.
The front here.
And
All right,
of course,
so you got the back seats.
This is obviously the best seat in the house if you ever get a chance to sit in it. There's no better seat than here than have someone driving you around in this thing. So.
And then this top.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually solid, huh?
Yeah, it's a hard top. They call it a bikini top, and so it is removable if you needed to, but it's not meant for quick and easy removal. So it does keep you a little dry if it does start to get rain or out of the shade for the most part. But
so before we started rolling, I opened the door. Just this action here, I just cannot believe how nice the click is, and just the feeling. Everything is aligned so perfectly. There's no, I mean, this is so much better than factory.
Oh yeah, hands down better than factory. And I think what happens is we get used to modern cars, and they kind of close. Most modern cars close like a rental car. You know, you feel your inside panel kind of flex when you close the door or you slam it. And it just doesn't sound solid. And they kind of tie in the original feels of that old Chevy truck, and then reinforce it with some nice girth in there, and it slams like a hard door again.
I absolutely love the fact that they retained this plate here. I think that is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool detail.
I've seen some of the other steering wheels made by HRE. I don't see any logos on this. I'm not sure if this was made.
No, that's actually a billet accessory built by the Ring Brothers. That is one of the few one-off pieces in here that isn't available. So that is a piece made specifically for this build, and then wrapped by the interior, who was Unlimited Upholstery. Yeah. The
leather's really nice. It smells amazing. I love that the top dead center mark is the same material as what's used all over for the carpets and everything.
Yeah, and everything just kind of flows. It blends together. The black contrasts really good with the tan across the board, and then even down to the detail, like you're stating, with like the stitching is green to match the outside of the paint, and something you might not notice until you kind of in the truck and you're looking at the details, but it's all the little details that really make the difference on something like this.
And of course, their switches, again, really special.
So satisfying.
And they just look so nice in raw aluminum. I mean, I remember photographing some of their other cars, and I see, you know, they anodize it different colors depending on what the color of the car is or depending on the theme. And then now for this, they have a lot of raw aluminum, including the gauge surrounds. Super nice.
Yeah, these all the bezels for even the dash. So the dash or the glove box doesn't actually work. We have a lot of electronic components hidden back here to kind of run the modern vehicle. But yeah, all of this is billet accessory from Ring Brothers that is available for any of these trucks, like I was mentioning. So these are the couple of the different things you can get in different colors as well, and all the way down to like the door handles and the window roller and everything like that. Just
oh yeah, this is super nice. Even this, the fact that when you're rolling up the window, this turns. Like, look at this piece. It's incredible. This and the door handle, just look at that. It's made so well. The armrest area, or the door, this is the door handle or the door pull. So all of this is really nice in that I can actually see the machining marks, and it's cool that they've just done it in so tastefully. It's just not too over the top.
No, exactly. It's a weird way of you showing the machining, and it adds to it in a weird way, like you're saying. So it's something that, you know, you might look at and be like, well, it looks almost unfinished, but at the same time, it adds this kind of raw factor to the classic vehicle side of it.
Huh.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, you tie that all in with brand new digital gauges from Dakota Digital, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, no, that looks great. I mean, because they really modernized this dash. And then of course it has AC, vintage air.
Yeah, vintage air AC. Still got modern USB plugs if you need to charge your phone on the road. It does have modern stereo with a sub in the back, so if you really want to kind of turn up the music and go for it, this is the ride for the summer.
Very cool. All right, well, I guess next up is actually us trying to drive this thing. Unfortunately, we can't take it off-road because it's too pretty to ruin. But yeah, we will drive it around. This thing is so cool. All right, so we're actually going to drive the Ring Brothers K5 Blazer, but we switched out Nathan for my friend Alana. Hi, Alana.
Hi.
How are you?
You trust me with your life?
Yeah. Barely, a little bit. No, just kidding. Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't.
I've seen you drive before. You're good. Okay, so let me get in this. This is okay. Not so awkward. All right, so.
Yeah, I could use a grab handle for us shorties.
The story is, Alana's actually doing a story, right?
I am. I'm driving this for Car and Driver, and then I heard that Larry was shooting it, and I was like, oh, people love to hear about how photographers work, so maybe I'll drive it and talk about the car, but I will also talk to Larry at the same time about like what he likes to shoot and how it's different to shoot, say, a custom car from a race car from a new car, because you do all of that.
Okay, so yeah, that's a really good point, right? So this week, just this week, starting from Sunday, you know, I was at Pikes Peak, starting line, race day, shot a bunch of crazy race cars, right? Then as soon as I flew home, we did a live stream with Canon, and I chased my buddy Justin Pollock in his Ford Mustang and Odie Bakchis in his LS-powered S13, right? And then the next day, the very next day, I'm shooting this crazy Ring Brothers build with you. And then, I mean, it's going to keep going. But
your days just keep getting better and better.
It's just so crazy. Like tomorrow, we're shooting at Leno's garage. We're going to shoot the Tesla Plaid. But the point is that you asked this earlier, like how is it that I don't get bored? And the answer is it's easy. Honestly, all of these cars excite me. Whether it be on-road, off-road, race car, whatever, this, that, or the other.
You were genuinely excited too. Like it wasn't like, oh, the camera's on and you started acting excited. Like the second that you guys pulled in and you saw this thing, you're like, oh my God. Oh my God, look at that color. Oh my God. That's how you sound.
Part of it, thanks. Part of it is that, you know, I've photographed so many of the Ring Brothers cars, and it's always a very big event. It's a big deal when they release one of their cars at the SEMA show, right? You can't even see the car because of how many people deep it is just to watch them.
Yeah, I only get photos of butts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe a door handle.
Yeah. We've been working together for well over 10 years, right? So we've been able to work together through so many different channels, mostly through Hot Rod Magazine.
Well, we were both newbies when we started because I was working in PR, actually for
Right.
Con Media, who represents the Ring Brothers, which is why we're here. It's all coming full circle. And like you were shooting like drift and not much else, I think, like at the time. And then like we were doing some projects together, and then I went to Hot Rod. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that your first like print feature when we shot for Hot Rod?
Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, my first ever magazine cover was the 65th anniversary Hot Rod. It was like a throwback. It was Vic Edelbrock's 32 Ford. We shot at Sunrise, El Mirage. I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was so cool to kind of have that historic cover. But now we're here. We're going to drive this, and then you tell me how you like it, and I'll tell you how I like it.
All right. I like it so far.
Okay. All right. It smells new.
It does smell new. It smells like leather and like a little bit like, you know, like machining oil.
All right. Here we go. Seatbelt on.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need that.
Let's hear this thing.
That's pretty quiet, like that idle. Huh? I mean, the top's off, but
Has a nice rumble.
yeah.
All right. Let's go.
It's not a car for sneaking up on people.
This is fun.
Do you feel like we should be going to the beach or like
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
a
the
party?
thing is, this is not really a canyon canyon carving truck. Even though we're in the Malibu canyons, I think we should probably.
Oh, do you want to go left?
Yeah. Let's make a left.
We are.
I do have to say though, it looks good in these hills.
Well, especially right now this season, like everything's turned all gold, and then the oak trees are dark green, and then this truck is like dark oak tree green and gold, and it's all very color coordinated.
So I did have a chance to drive it a little bit earlier, and it drives like a truck, as a truck should drive from the 70s. But it's nice. It has some, modern amenities like better brakes.
The brakes are great. I really like. It's really impressive because normally, you get in an old truck and you step on the brakes and you're like, which way are we going to turn when I step on the brakes in a straight line? And the other thing I was noticing, and I mean, hopefully your folks watching are noticing, it's like there's no rattles, like there's no wind noise, and we literally don't have a cab.
Yeah.
It's just a
It's
bikini
actually
top.
really all open. The back here, you're not protected from the sun at all. You're just getting roasted, which is fine, if you're going to the beach, if that's what you're planning on
Yeah,
doing.
that's the tanning seat.
Yeah.
People pay a lot of money to like sit in tanning booths, and instead they could sit in the back of this Blazer, get tan, and have a good time at the same time. I think I've just come up with a really good job idea, like a company.
Right.
I mean, it's
Just getting driven around and getting tans.
yeah, just drive people around in an open top Blazer, give them a tan. I'm gonna have to talk to the Ring Brothers though, because I feel like the buy-in cost for my brilliant plan is it's a little high right now. Ooh,
Oh, that's so cool.
friends.
So is there you didn't get like a wave or anything, right? So it's not like
It's not like
Blazer
Jeeps
guys
or-
don't have like a wave. They don't have
don't
like
have
a
a Jeep
Jeep wave.
wave?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to start one.
Yeah. Well, so what do? Could it be a salute or
Or
something?
you throw each other a Coors Light.
I like that. So you just have one in the cup holder, and then as soon as you see one, you just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Yo.
the open top is for.
Totally, that's why you have it. Get some.
All right. Can I drive now?
Yeah, sure.
I want to experience this thing.
All right.
Again.
All right, let's find a good pulling off spot. How about right here? Nobody
Perfect.
behind me.
All right. Here we go.
I always feel like this kind of seatbelt is like you've got to really be smooth. It doesn't reward the impatient, you know. It'll
Right.
like catch.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Canyon carving in a 1970 Chevy Blazer. Oh, this is nice.
I know all of the
This is
all
so
the switches
nice.
are really nice.
I actually want to use the turn signal. Right?
Well, lucky for you, you're going to get to press it a lot because since we're on a really curvy road and the turn signal's pretty sensitive and the steering's pretty sensitive, if you put it on and then you take a turn and then you correct your turn, you'll turn it off again. You get to put it on again.
Oh, nice. Oh, this thing is a handful for sure. I feel like it has so much more power than it needs to have.
It's got some on tap, shall we say.
It definitely drives like a 1970 pickup truck or a truck. Not that I've ever driven one before, but I can imagine.
This is what you imagine they drive like?
I can imagine it drives like this, where, you know, you just don't want to go fast, you just want to cruise.
You just got to commit to it.
Wow, look at that. Just, it's actually kind of fun to floor it. So we going on the beach or what?
You're in charge. You're the boss.
It just makes so much V8 noises. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's got that, like, this is like a truck where a Flowmaster sound is like exactly right on it. You know?
It shifts pretty hard, surprisingly. Or it like...
You're gonna sort of tack us back in like a sailboat, Larry? Could
This is actually a lot of fun to try to keep it straight.
It reminds me of, did you ever do those slick track go-karts?
Oh, yeah. Where they put baby powder?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I what music do you think, like if you weren't just listening to the engine, what would you play on this stereo? Because it's got a good stereo. It's got like a Kenwood stereo and like kicker speakers and everything.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I don't know. For me, it's maybe it ruins the experience a little bit. I don't know.
Are you not a music and driving guy?
Yeah, I just like hearing the engine. I like hearing the road noise. I don't know. I think this is an experience in itself, just to drive it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. None of my garbage even has a working stereo, so I don't know. I'm always kind of excited when there is one.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. How should we end this? Should we
what?
just pull into the gas station?
Oh, how to end it?
Yeah.
I go up and maybe
Yeah.
do a turnover there.
Okay.
So, you know, since I've got to interview you anyway, and we're sitting in this car and it's quiet enough to talk, like, do you feel like it's different, like from a photographic standpoint, to shoot something like this, like, versus say like a new car? Like you shot the Supra, right? And like, you know, like, are you looking at the same kind of details on a new car as you are on like a custom or a classic car or a race car? Like are the same things interesting, or do you look at different parts of the car like with more priority?
It's a really interesting question. I mean, because like I said earlier before when I was interviewing Nathan, this car was never meant to look good. Realistically, it's just a box, right? I mean, it's not like they really
right
put
now
that
there's
much.
like one 80-year-old Blazer designer right now who's just like single tier into his Metamucil.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of a shape of a car, if you asked a child to draw a picture of
You're just
a car
making it
or a
worse.
truck, it's just
brutal. No, I
it's
know
just
what
a
you're
box
saying.
with two
It's
holes
just
for the wheels.
It's a box.
You know?
It was a affordable car. It wasn't like it was.
But in a way, there's beauty in that, right? So I mentioned this a lot. Like, for example, the Datsun 510 is the same way. It's a box. There's a lot of vehicles that way, right? But with that said, you massage it in a way. You put it together. You have a nice wheel and tire package. You have the nice stance. Of course, you have like this bikini top roll bar. All of that comes together, and then it becomes this thing that is special. And throughout the day of me actually photographing this, I did my best to piece it, I guess, and try to cut apart the parts that I thought looked the best.
And so, what were some of the parts that you felt looked the best?
There's just that one nice natural body line that it reflects the sunlight, and it's just so pretty.
Especially in this color, because it's got kind of like a pearl gold under the green, and like when the sun was hitting it, it like glowed.
Yeah. So when the sun hits it, it completely changes color. I could imagine if I was photographing this at night, it would look almost black, right? Just because it's definitely a darker green. But the point is that I tried my best to use the sunlight to really bring out the flake that they put in it. It just looks so good. And as always, the paint from the Ring Brothers builds like glass.
Kill it on paint and on bodywork, because like the way that the doors fit, like it's such a pleasure to open and shut the doors on this thing, and that is not something that like any 70s truck you would normally say. Like it's like such a nerdy car thing, but like the panel gaps, like the spaces between the doors look really good. They're not all wonky and uneven, but like mostly just this big heavy door doesn't feel heavy at all. Like the hinges support it well, and the latch grabs it immediately, and it like closes with this click. It's like those super expensive refrigerators, like it's like that.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of square things.
Wait, me?
No. The refrigerator, Blazer, same shape.
Yeah.
But this has its own charm. I absolutely love. I could only imagine, like, back in 1970 or 1969, somebody bought this truck off the showroom floor, and it was their pride and joy, and they enjoyed it just like how we're enjoying it today. It's kind of amazing.
It's nice to feel connected, and and that person, if they saw this right now, and they saw all of these little details, they'd just like. I think they'd be pretty stoked. I mean, I do think like what you were saying about the shape and everything, and it coming together as a whole. It's like kind of almost a better palette for all these tiny details. I mean, would you be paying attention to like the switches if you had like a Lamborghini Mira in front of you? Like no, because you'd just be like, oh, Lamborghini Mira.
Well, also another interesting thing is, I guess one of the things that I bring up about the Ring Brothers cars a lot is the fact that they've become something so special. It could have just been something that was rotting in some field or in a junkyard or in someone's driveway, but it's become something so special, and it's obviously special enough for both of us to kind of pay attention to it, right?
Yeah, I'm glad that I got to enjoy this truck with you, Larry.
Yeah. Cool. Well, see you guys in the next episode.